Hello, I'm George Latimer, Westchester County Executive, and we're here to review our plan for 2020 for shared services for Westchester County and the many municipalities in Westchester County, which includes the cities, the towns, and the villages that comprise the county, and as well those cooperative efforts with school districts, fire districts, and other governmental entities with the mission to try to reduce the costs of government. Most all of us understand that with this group of different governmental organizations, there have to be some types of economies of scale that can be gained. And New York State has put into place a program with certain specifics that each of us have to follow, and the county submits a plan each year, and that plan has to be approved by the local governments. And in so doing, as we implement it, we hope to find savings that will then be matched by state government resources. Now, as part of that process, we want to make sure that we reach out to the public for public information. That's a requirement of the plan, and that's what this Facebook Live posting is, whether you're seeing it live or if you happen to be seeing it as a rebroadcast. This is an effort to try to explain it to you. If you have detailed questions that you'd like, you're welcome to call us in the county office building. Our offices are at 995-2900. Susan Spear and Emily Saltzman are two of the key people that work directly with us on our shared services program. We're happy to try to answer any questions you may have. We've dialogued directly with the cities, towns, villages, and the various other governments on this plan. And so we just want to roll out some of the basic elements of it for you so that you have at least a taste of it before you follow up a little bit further. We've completed a certain number of items as part of our requirements of the state of New York, and obviously this updated plan for 2020 that we're presenting now represents the single most important step. When we came into office in 2018, the plan from the state had been in effect for a year, and we redid the plan for 2018 and then again in 2019 as we're trying to focus on those activities that we think will have the most amount of importance and success, and also that those programs that are in the plan are eligible for state matching fund awards, so we can multiply the financial benefit of this. In December of 2019, just within the last month, but on the other side of the year divisor, the plan was approved at a meeting at the county center that was represented by 35 of the municipalities and was approved unanimously, which is a sign of local support for what that effort is. And now here in January 2020, as we roll this out as part of this public presentation, we're now going to be applying for matching funds for the work we did in 2019. That benefit may accrue to one of the municipalities, it may accrue to the county, but whatever it is, it would benefit the taxpayers of Westchester County as part of both what we saved by our efforts and then also what the state matches as an additional incentive. Within our shared service program for 2020, there are a number of different items. I'm going to bullet them without detailed explanation, but if there are questions, and certainly there would be some, feel free to reach out to us and we'll be happy to explain it in some detail. We have as one of the elements of our plan for 2020, enhanced energy efficiency. We're working with the New York Power Authority, NYPA, which is headquartered here in White Plains, but is a state a public agency, for a contract for solarization, where we intend to collect solar in a number of different locations where we have opportunity and access to the sun, and to do that in a context with some of our municipalities as a way of generating energy that will save us the expenditure of energy from the grid and from existing other sources. We have a plan for a wireless master plan, and that is a pilot program in northern Westchester, which is a cooperative program between a number of different communities. And of course, those communications efforts are essential for our emergency services, our police and law enforcement services, fire services, as well as it assists those who use the wireless system extensively. We have within the plan for 2020 a county health consortium utilizing an organization, the acronym it's known by MEBCO, stands for Municipal Employee Benefit Corporation, in which the healthcare benefits of those who work for a government can be lowered in their financial impact to the local governments by dint of being involved in this consortium. It's a very innovative idea. It's a way to cost save at every level of government, and of course it's a system that each local government has to look at and determine that it makes sense for them, but that is part of what we intend to promote for shared services in 2020. We also look at the area of water and sewer, and the current way that those services are dealt with are very diffuse, divided between different entities, without necessarily some of the benefits of consolidation that we think would come from it. We have hired former chairman of the Board of Legislators, Mike Kaplowitz, to take on the task of looking at sewer consolidation, and we see both sewer and water consolidations as the potential for the future. But there's many tricky issues that have to be worked out, and to have Mike looking at that from one side of it, both sides of those two issues, and consolidation. If we can save money in this area, this will be a significant savings in what represents two of the basic services that government provides or allows to provide: the ability of clean water to come into a person's home or business, and that sewerage leave that person's home or business and be properly treated before it's discharged into the Long Island Sound or the Hudson River. We have included in this plan food scrap recycling program efforts. We've recently completed a food scrap recycling report, which we're discussing a bit internally. We're going to review it with the Board of Legislators and go out to the public, in which the basic mission is to try to take food scraps, which is a fairly significant portion of the waste stream, and take it out of the normal waste stream where garbage is disposed, at the Charles Point plant, burned in essence, and to take it out and compost it in a way that makes it more environmentally sound and reduces the amount of garbage we burn. And there'll be a savings as well as an environmentally correct way to handle this issue. We are now trying to work with those municipalities that have established food scrap programs. Most of them are center depot drop-offs where people can come and bring their food scraps in each of those communities that have them. There are two communities that have established curbside pickup in the same way that you pick up normal garbage and normal recycling. So our food scrap recycling program, we think, will become very robust in 2020, and we believe that it will generate some cost savings as well as the environmental benefit. We have in this plan efforts to cooperate and coordinate in areas of law enforcement and emergency services. Now, that represents an option all across the county for facilities, communications, and specialized services to be done in a cooperative and collegial fashion. There are certain things that have been in place for a long time. Larchmont Village and Mamaroneck Town already have had a joint garbage collection and disposal unit for a number of times, Sanitation Commission, and some of these are fairly recent vintage. Westchester County has had an IMA, which we just renewed, with the village of Mount Kisco to provide basic police services from the county police in lieu of having a separate local police department. That was made at the decision of Mount Kisco. It saves them about $500,000 a year over the course of their prior arrangements. They've saved somewhere between $2 to $3 million in local government by having the county pick up that responsibility, and it is not an equivalent cost to the county to do that. So there's a savings for taxpayers. That is one example of one of the kinds of shared services that involve this area, and it is available potentially for other municipalities as they see fit. We also have worked cooperatively between our Department of Public Safety, local school districts, on school resource officers, which is becoming more of an issue now as we worry about school safety. The accumulation of these specific issues also includes several local proposals from towns and school districts for common efforts to purchase items together, which every community needs. As we're having this conversation in the winter, we've not yet gotten our first 2020 snowfall, but when that does happen, we're all aware that road salt and other types of things are needed in order for us to make it through the wintertime. And with each of those different entities making their own purchasing, finding ways to consolidate that and make it more cost efficient is part of what we're hoping to do. Some communities, I'll reference again Mamaroneck, which has a cooperative effort between the town, the village, and the school district to do some of this purchasing jointly is important as an example of where we can go in the future. Some of the river towns, Hastings and some of their neighboring communities, are also seeking to do that. We want to try to make that a more commonplace situation. And as part of that process, we have established a portal that allows for governments to access that information from other governments that would help them obtain services or equipment, and they might be able to do it in a way that is cost efficient and share that equipment or still give it valid usage in a way that will cost taxpayers less money. So that, too, is part of the process. With this plan in place for 2020, the county now applies for state matching funds, which will help increase the benefit, not only from the money that we save by implementing these ideas, but also by receiving direct grants from the state to complement them. Our matching fund application goes in here in January of 2020, and it has to identify net savings that results from the implementation of these plan actions. The state matching fund requires documentation of net savings from actions that are paid for with property tax revenue. not fees that someone would pay. And that's important because this is meant to show that shared services will reduce property tax costs and property tax burden. Now, the Westchester Shares portal, which has been established, and it's in use by various governments, where they can go onto the portal and determine what types of services or equipment is available for them to use, represents a recording of actual benefit of net savings for any match that comes through the portal. This is an example of something that was done in Suffolk County. Westchester has adopted our version of it. It's very innovative. Most of the local governments have really responded well to the presence of this type of sort of marketplace availability for the various governments to be able to come in and look for opportunities that would represent cost savings by sharing of equipment, again, or different services. There is a virtual marketplace that's been established. It's coming up on January 22nd and 23rd, and that will allow for the various community organizations, in most cases purchasing managers, village managers, town administrators, those who do the same for fire departments, library districts, any of the participating entities, to go on and look at what is available to them and find additional ways to share money, to share services, and to thereby save money. So this report that's before you is now going to be conveyed to Albany, and they will make their assessment and evaluation of it. It, as I mentioned previously, was voted on a month ago unanimously by the participating municipalities of Westchester County, so we know we've got a plan that has solid support. And I will now sign the letter that's going to the Secretary of State, New York Secretary of State, Rosanna Rosado, which will convey our county services, shared services plan for 2020, and in so doing, hopefully open the door for us to save money through our cooperative actions and also receive some state money along those ends. And with that, our shared services program has been submitted, will be in place. And again, I would invite anybody who sees this communications to contact us for any detailed questions. 995-2900 is our county executive's team's office here in White Plains. Ask to speak to Emily Saltzman or Susan Spear, and they'll be happy to answer what questions they can. And if it requires input from one of our other executives, we'll be happy to do that. Thank you very much for watching. We hope you found it of some information, of some interest. And certainly this is part of our requirement to have public input on these issues. Have a good day.